Top five, top five, top five.
So topical back with another video. I'm Strange Wang, he is Nate. Today we're doing top 5 boxing movies in honor of Creed 3, a movie him and I are both extremely excited about. So after this quick message, he'll tell you about how the top 5s work.
He's going to start with his 5 and 4. I'm going to give my 5 and 4, 3, 2, 3, 2. Then we trade off number ones. We also have something called the Zemeckis rule, which just means if we both have the same movie on our list, but one person has it 2 slots or higher, we just save it, the conversation, until we get to it on their list.
Number 5 for Strange Wayne is going to be The Harder They Fall. And I'm not talking about the Black Western on Netflix. I'm talking about the 1956 Humphrey Bogart film.
I was like, why does that sound so familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a great film. Humphrey Bogart gets tied up in some mob-esque activities where he has to train a fighter, and it's about the crookedness of boxing during that time period. And they're building up this chump to feel like a monster, and Bogart's in his corner, and he's like, hey, kid, like, they're fucking playing you, that kind of, like, Bogart is, like, the best actor at, I'm, like, not a good person, but I'm working on it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the movie, he always, like, comes out of it and, like, shows his true colors,
Sure, yeah.
Bogart, he's one of my favorite actors of all time.
He's great. So
it had to be on this list, mixed in with the mob activity. It was a no-brainer for Strange Wayne. Number 4 is, I guess I keep it. I'm going back and forth on my 3 and 4, but I'm going to leave it like I did on the list. And surprisingly, it's a Nate move. Number 4 is a documentary, When We Were Kings.
Okay.
The Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Rumble in the Jungle documentary. It's really more about Muhammad Ali because he's the reason why they went over there.
Because why wouldn't it be? Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was the reason why. It was his redemption story. People in Africa, they cared more about Muhammad Ali because of social rights activisms, and they really I said that wrong.
So
They really got behind Muhammad Ali. And it's funny because this is all documentary footage from the 70s. And most of the people didn't even know George Foreman was black.
Huh.
They were surprised when he got off the plane. It was like, that's the heavyweight champion? And then obviously this is where Ali Boumbaye, very famous line in history of sports, came from. A really good documentary, really in-depth. It shows these sports writers that were there and reporters that were there and whatnot, just the man behind Muhammad Ali, and really builds George Foreman up as this destroyer in the ring. And it tells a beautiful story that you do get to see played out in the ring in a very good, concise version of that boxing match. English,
motherfucker, do you speak it?
Can't talk today. So, because of that, it had to make my list. But recency bias, because I've recently watched this, I did want to give it the nudge. So.
Yeah.
But phenomenal documentary. And it's widely considered to be one of the greatest documentaries of all time, especially in sports. That, Hoop Dreams are the 2 big sports documentaries. Well, I mean, I guess now The Last Dance.
I was about to say, if you're only talking movies, then yeah, I feel that Last Dance is going to be up there now for sure.
Yeah. But that's my 5 and 4.
Nice. My number 5 is Southpaw. The Jake Gyllenhaal one, not the 50s or 60s one, which I haven't seen. It's a remake. Well, it used the name. I learned that when I was looking at boxing movies for my list. I love this movie. I think it's got a ton of heart. Really, pretty much every boxing movie does, which is why they're great. For some reason, boxing movies, every sports movie, is successful because they find a way to add. I mean, let's be honest. Pretty much every sports movie, period, is an underdog story. Basically, every boxing movie is an underdog story. And like with the exception of like, you know, now getting into the Creed stuff and like the later Rockies where they've already won stuff and established themselves, but they're still going to weave some sort of underdog element into those stories, right? Boxing movies, personally, I think they do it better than any of those. Like, and I don't know if it's because it's like such a solo sport or what, but Southpaw, really great. You have a really significant death in the beginning of the film. The entire story is just like this big redemption story, and I really like it.
Yeah. Who knew Mysterio could play a Wigger so well?
Well, to be fair, he did that way before he played.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
that's the first role that came to my head.
But here's the thing: if you don't give Jake Gyllenhaal a backstory and motivation for his character, he's just gonna make it up anyways.
Yeah,
that's fair.
My number 4 is Creed 2.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I limited myself to, in the Rocky universe, 2 Rocky movies. So.
Oh, well then, geez, I wonder what they are. Yeah, Creed 2, it's not as good
I figured as much.
What the fuck is that?
Creed 2, it's not as good as Creed 1. It's still an excellent movie. I think that, like, I don't give a shit about the Drago's son. Like you could have eliminated the like Drago name from it and just still pinned him as like this Russian thing. And I understand it adds an extra element of drama because he killed his dad and Rocky has his thing with him and like all this stuff. So like I'm glad that part's in there. I'm glad they did a good enough job of making it to where you don't have to watch any crappy Rocky movies to understand why that's important in Creed 2.
You've never seen a Rocky movie, period. So you don't know if they're crappy or not.
Yeah, I like to watch good movies.
No, you were talking about some movie you watched and it was fucking...
Yeah, because I have to make a worst of the year list.
No, you watched this because you wanted to watch it. What movie was it? You keep talking, I won't think.
Okay. But yeah, Creed 2 is really good. I love the continuation of his story. And I liked it more than any of the other boxing movies that I could have put on my list. And I think it's a little bit better than Southpaw. So it's my number 4.
While making this list, there's not a lot of fucking boxing movies out there.
There's actually a ton of boxing movies out there. Most of them are from the 30s and 40s.
Yeah. Like, I watched Fat City preparing for this list, and it was good. It was like a decent 70s film.
Yeah.
But didn't make the list.
Part of me wanted to be cheeky and say the first 30 minutes of Pulp Fiction. Well, not the first 30 minutes, but like the first part of Butch's story.
How long has it been since Pulp Fiction's made a top 5?
It's been a minute. I think we burned ourselves out. Not on like Pulp Fiction itself, but on like talking about it.
Pulp Fiction in general for me personally.
Which I don't think that's a bad thing.
Number 3, I'm assuming it's your number 2, The Fighter.
That's my number 3.
Oh. Damn, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fighter, phenomenal performances, a family affair. It adds a different dimension to this character because his motivation is not, I want to win this championship, is I need to do this for my family. If I don't fucking fight, my mom, who's my manager, she don't eat. My brother, my trainer, he doesn't eat. My wife, she doesn't eat. I don't eat. That more of a motivation goes into it. And he's constantly worried about his family because that's his team. That is his people who's training him box, who's helping him put food on the table. So when Dickie gets fucked up with Boo Boo on that crack and starts stealing golf clubs and
garbage,
go around saying, "I'm tired of your shit." Yeah. That, you gotta get him out of jail. You gotta do certain things for him. So I like it because it has a different element to the underdog story that we're not used to seeing.
Yeah. Were you done? I didn't want to interrupt you.
No.
Yeah, I really love this movie. I think that Mark Wahlberg, his character is like maybe to me the most as relatable as much as I could relate to like someone who's a professional boxer and also lives a much different lifestyle than me, which is everyone in all of these movies. He is the most relatable to me because he literally is just like, I just don't want to deal with the fucking drama. Like, can I please just fucking fight?
Yeah.
Like I'm tired of the, like, quit fucking arguing. I want my dad in my corner. I don't care if y'all don't like him. Yeah, Dickie's fucking ruining his life, but he's my brother. Just like, he's going to help me do this. I just want to do this. Can we please stop with all the bullshit? And it's like, I feel that.
Were you trying to do a Wahlberg impression? 'Cause I felt like there was one kind of peeking through.
Oh, no. I wasn't trying to.
Get the fuck off my porch.
Yeah.
Come here, wife. Get in the house.
Do you think this is this or Boogie Nights Mark
Boogie Nights.
Wahlberg's best
Boogie Nights.
movie?
Boogie Nights.
Disagree. But
one, he doesn't get overshadowed the entire time by other characters. Amy Adams is better than him in that movie. Obviously, Christian Bale's better than him in that movie.
anyone who's in a movie with Mark Wahlberg is better than Mark Wahlberg in that movie.
God damn!
Nonetheless, The Fighter's a good movie.
Fighter's an excellent movie.
Number 2 for me is going to be Creed.
Well, that's my number 1. So.
It is a beautiful continuation to the Rocky story, and it's the perfect way to pass the torch. Him having cancer is the perfect way to bring these characters together, and for him to show him the same appreciation and gratitude and love back, and it also sets them back and makes them more of an underdog, and it balances because if you could do a whole movie where he's just like, I want to get out of my father's shadow, that's going to wear itself tiresome and thin. And these are people, because the Rocky universe is a great universe with well-developed characters. So he has multiple problems in his life. He has girl problems. He has identity problems. He also has his fucking mentor, a father figure to him probably, dying of cancer, who doesn't want to get treatment because he just wants to go see his wife. So you have all these things on top of a huge fight, and I couldn't think of an actor better suited to play Apollo Creed's son than Michael B. Jordan. Great charisma. Obviously, the fucking look and everything. He got fucking ripped for the role.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was doing the MCU stuff after that, so it worked to coincide.
Sure.
But perfect. And it's got my future baby mama in it.
Ironically, I think the only other person who could have done that is Jonathan Majors.
Nah.
Who is now in this franchise anyways.
Yeah.
Like, you could have flipped them, and I think it's, like, it would have been a little bit different, because he doesn't quite have, like, the natural, like, charisma.
I've never seen Jonathan Majors play a good guy. I've seen him play like a hipster, kind of esque in The Last Black Man in San Francisco, but never nothing with a lot of charisma.
Yeah. I think the way that it is was the best possible outcome.
Oh, for sure.
I think that Jonathan Majors could have done it.
Bro, he looks fucking...
He's huge. He's fucking massive.
As soon as I read in the very beginning... I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're
I'm just
fine.
so excited. As soon as I fucking read, because I love like Mike Tyson stuff, he's one of the most interesting people ever to me, just because of how he flipped his life around and who he is now. It's like,
yeah, he is really,
mind-blowing.
really fascinating.
But he modeled himself after crazy ass Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Like after Cuss died and like he was like on his weird shit. Like, bruh, I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Got me fucking going, dog.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Creed is the best boxing movie that's ever been made. It's absolutely wonderful. Absolutely. Like,
You've never seen Rocky?
I don't care. Thank you. That's always going to be your retort. It will always be.
Now, how about you watch Rocky and give it a fucking shot?
Okay.
I've seen those shitty Star Wars movies. Are some of them good? Yes. Are some of them okay? Yes. Some of them suck? Yes. I can be fair about it. But overall, I don't think it's a good franchise. That's my opinion. Now, you should watch Rocky, and then you can have your own fucking opinion.
I do have an opinion.
You don't. Oh.
It may not be a super well-informed opinion, but I can guarantee you...
It's iconic. I don't like it.
If I went in your room and watched Rocky right now, I would walk right back here and be like, Creed is the best boxing movie ever made. Like, I can tell you for a fact that is exactly what I would do.
I got 3 copies. You want to borrow one, bitch?
I own Rocky.
Put that bitch in.
I probably will at some point. Creed's the best boxing movie ever made. It's interesting. I appreciate that Rocky existed so that this movie could exist. That is the only thing that Rocky
That's the nicest
has
thing
ever
you've
done for
said
me,
about Rocky.
and probably ever will do for me. Would I have preferred a brand new boxing franchise starring Michael B. Jordan as basically the same character without it having anything to do with Rocky? Yes, but that's not the world that I live in, and I can accept that. So I'm thankful for Rocky for making Creed exist. It is wonderful. It is emotionally thrilling. The way that they shoot the fight is spectacular. It's so good. It has everything that you need in a boxing movie. It has heart. It has a hero you can get behind. It has a training montage and a really, really well shot fight that had excellent build up to the actual fight.
Number 3.
My number 3 was The Fighter, and then so my number 2 is Raging Bull. What?
I have opinions about that.
What?
Like, they're probably bad opinions. It's one of those movies I don't like, but I need to rewatch it. So, I'm watching it. I'm getting this in-depth performance, this character study, and then they had the boxing match. He hits some blood, like, spews all over the announcers in the most cartoonish way possible.
Yeah.
And then
it's a time period thing.
It took me out.
Yeah.
And then I could not enjoy the movie. I could not get back into it.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch it.
So I knew that was a thing that happened before
Me
I watched
too.
it.
Me too.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, yeah.
I don't know why, but it completely shot me out of it.
And I think that's for when this movie came out. I think that's why I like it so much, because movies like this was really kind of at the time where movies were starting to add a little more shock value to them. Like there were so many rules.
Interesting.
About what?
You say shock value. I thought you say art.
That too. I mean, like I agree with that.
First time in America, people are doing this with their art.
Yeah, like that also, and I think that kind of those two things kind of came hand in hand in this time period. So I think to audiences back then, that was like, oh my, this is so violent. Like, oh my God. You know, and how many war movies existed before this? But the way they shoot them is just in such a way where, somebody shoots a German and they go, whoa! It's like, there's still this like hokiness to it. Like, it's not funny, but they still shot it in a way to where like, we don't want this to be too intense. I
don't know. That came out in 1980, so there's probably some like 70s films that are probably
violent. And there are there absolutely are. But I feel like the movies that were violent in the 70s were movies that you like expected to be, where this is just like, this is a boxing movie. Boxing's a gentleman's sport, But the thing is, and that's the thing though, when you're the one in the ring, it is not a gentleman's sport. Like, that other person is literally, they're not trying to kill you, but that is the mentality that they go in that ring with, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's why I like Raging Bull so much. It's really kind of one of the first movies to really show how gruesome combat sports really, really are. And it is shot incredibly artistically. You get a wonderful performance from De Niro. And I think it deserves to be this high.
My number 1 is the greatest boxing film of all time. I'm going to keep it short.
You put Creed twice?
Because he's going to interrupt me.
That's really interesting.
And I'm doing a ranking of the Rocky Creed universe after I see Creed 3. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Rocky's the greatest boxing movie of all time. One of the greatest characters of all time. Rocky Balboa is the GOAT. The GOAT. The GOAT.
The GOAT!
It wrote the blueprint of the underdog story and having the guy lose. And it reflects art and real life, because Stallone fought tooth and nail to get this movie made, and then had to fight even harder to be in the movie and play the part of Rocky. And it's the first sports movie to win the Best Picture Oscar. Iconic, groundbreaking, extraordinary is Rocky. Here at Topical, we're unfortunately poor, and this money you see on screen, that's CGI. That's not real money, because again, we're poor. So if you want to click in the add eye in the corner, That video is monetized, and we can make money off it, so please go watch it.
And if you click an ad, we make more money. And if you really want to help, there's the thanks button right there below this video. Let us know your top 5 favorite boxing movies are down in the comment section below. Scroll back up, hit the like button, and subscribe.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.